Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about the 100, episode 602, titled Red Sun Rising, which premiered Tuesday, May 7, 2019 on the CW. I'm recording roughly a few hours after the episode is aired, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I'm going to try to do this in 15 minutes, so let's start the clock and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, I guess you could say this continues from where 601 left off. It definitely continues for the rest of the duration of the Red Sun eclipse. The episode reminder being the Red Sun eclipse, I'm going to say it pretty much is indicated in the title itself. The objective of the episode is either 1, surviving the red eclipse, or 2, defeating the intruders on board. So episode breakdowns in this episode would have to be 3 different parts. First one being, we do get a flashback to 236 years ago. And the second one being on the new planet, Planet Alpha, which we find out is named Sanctum. And that is with our group trying to survive the Red Sun eclipse. And the third storyline is back on the Aegis 4 ship. And that is dealing with the people from Sanctum trespassing on board to gain control. So the first storyline being the flashbacks, we see when Aegis 3 arrived at Sanctum, the planet being named by one of the members, Josephine Lightborn. I guess she was one of the photos of like the founders in the previous episode. But their mission was to categorize everything found on Sanctum and try to figure out what was going on there. We get to see day 21, and that was the start of their first encounter with the Red Sun eclipse, which led to one of their own going on a massacre and killing everybody, claiming that the planet was their own type of thing, or was theirs. So there's that. Second storyline dealing with our present-day characters surviving their own encounter with the Red Sun eclipse, with our recon team trying to figure out how the toxin was affecting them, because it changes their behavior. We get Miller and Jackson getting sedated first when they happen to share upon the same hallucination. We get Echo sedating herself after she experiences many shouting voices in her head. We get Murphy escaping his own restraint, trying to protect himself, though he doesn't seem to show signs of being affected by the toxin for some reason. Though later on, we do see his wound that Amori gave him having these black spidery veins coming from it for some reason. So that's another thing in general. We do see Bellamy getting a lot more aggressive, while Clark is more leaning towards self-harm due to the toxin. So there is that. With Murphy, though, I'm wondering if the wound that Amori gave him is now infected, and that's where the black spidery vein was, or that's why he was never affected by the Red Sun, because he was infected by something. I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon, but he was not in a good state by the end of the episode. Third storyline with back on board the Aegis 4. We do get the Sanctum intruders. Is that right to say? I would say intruders from Sanctum gathering the awake passengers, which are all from Sky Crew, and keep them hostage in the mess hall. This brings up tensions between Octavia and those Sky Crew members. She ends up breaking, trying to goad them all into killing her. Abby tells them not to, kind of let her live with what she's done type of thing. And they all let it be. During this whole hostage situation, we have Raven waking up Diosa and Maddie to help her take back the ship. And then they have a new recon team taking the transport ship back down to Sanctum. And we have Octavia, Abby, Jordan, Raven, and the last surviving intruder that tried to take control over them. And we have Diosa, Gaia, and Maddie staying back on the transport ship to stop anyone else from stealing it. So there's that. Last moments of the episode show children returning to the village and coming across our characters originally from Earth and asking them if they are there to take them back home, which confuses our characters and the audience as well, because we're all left to believe that these children view Sanctum as their home, but apparently that's not the case for some reason. So there is that. It's a little bit weird why all the new characters that we just see were all children. Like, we were all the adults when the kids are coming back out. So that's the thing there. But character-wise, though, we have Octavia being fueled with anger to the point that she's willing to beat up a wall just to, like, drown out her own pain, I guess, or something. Or she wants to bring about more pain to herself or something, so it's something else to focus on. I don't know. We do see her goading the other former Sky Crew members into killing her. Like I said, Abby tells them not to, let her deal with the guilt of who she's become and all that drama. With Diozu, we still find her being pregnant again. Is there ever a time that baby's ever going to be born? But we do see her taking charge of this hostage situation she has awakened up in. So there's that. New characters, though, from the flashback, we do meet the Lightborn family. They were part of Allegiance 3. The father, who I recognize as Robin Hood from Once Upon a Time, he ended up killing his wife, Simone, and his daughter, Josephine, during the first Red Sun eclipse. And then there's also Gabriel Santiago, who was part of the same group as well. He was in a relationship with Josephine, and it looked like he survived the attack that Mr. Lightborn had caused on all their people, I think, because he took cover. So I don't know, I'm assuming it, because also I kind of peeked in this cast list spoilers, and one of the, well, no, that doesn't make sense. Well, apparently the next episode has Gabriel in the title, so I'm assuming he had to have survived in order to have the generations leading to form being the children of Gabriel type thing. So anyways, there's that. Tidbit wise though, we do find out that the Sanctum inhabitants are the Nightbloods. Maddie makes a point of noticing that. We do also see, again, one of the Sanctum inhabitants who tried to invade the Allegiance 4 ship being able to pass through the radiation shield, while the others couldn't. Again, this could be because she's a Nightblood, because Clark was able to do the same thing as well. That didn't click to me when it first happened until I remembered that Maddie brought up the Nightblood thing. So there's that. And also, the red eclipse causes the trees to eat the bugs. That's why we don't hear anything. And I'm not sure if I heard that right, but that's just weird to hear the opposite happening. So there's that. But ship status, there's not that many. But with Clark and Bellamy, we do see them starting off as being partners that had a plan to take a hold of this whole toxin thing. But then they end up turning against each other, or at least Bellamy turns against Clark while she turns on herself due to the toxin's effects on her, effects on them. So there's that. We also see Clark and Murphy going at each other. More of Murphy attacking Clark verbally, and then him trying to save her from herself, and then kind of team up with her to save Bellamy. So we're kind of all over the place with those two. In this episode, Raven finds out that Shaw is dead when she comes across his burial site by the radiation field. So that was very depressing there. And then also we see Bellamy and Octavia kind of reuniting again. She's there. Well, she claims she's on the planet to help save her brother, though Bellamy's still not at the point of viewing her as his sister once again. So they're definitely on different pages there as well. So let's move on to the most shocking moment of the episode. I think the flashback to Allegiance 3, I wasn't expecting that so early on in the season, or to see what exactly happened. So that was a surprise there. Also, it was surprising to see that the toxin was affecting our recon team in very different ways. I thought it was all going to cause the aggression to form in each and every one of them, but I guess each of them reacted differently. I don't know. So that was a little shocking there. But let's move on to top 3 favorite moments. The first one I have to say is Clark and Murphy. Definitely the whole up and down dynamic between them in this episode. The fact that they're arguing with each other, the fact that he's trying to put all the blame on her and she's trying to defend herself, or would you call that defending herself? I don't know. And then later on, he tries to save her from herself and then trying to team up with her so they can save Bellamy. It was just, for some reason, I like it when the two of them team up with each other. I don't know why. It could very well be because of this fan fiction I started reading during the hiatus. I'll put a link for it down below because it was pretty cool how the person formed the dynamic between Clark and Murphy while still being a Bellark shipper. So I'll link it down below as well for you to go check out. So there's that. The second favorite moment I'd have to say is just seeing all the different toxin effects on our recon team and just knowing how it affected the characters. It's not just like us seeing from the outside that they're just acting differently, but the fact that we got to be in the point of view of the character itself who's affected by the toxin was pretty cool as well. Initially, I thought Clark would be immune because she was a Nightblood and because she seemed to be the last of the recon team to get affected by the toxin, so I thought maybe she could have been immune. But then when she started showing signs, it's like, oh, that plan goes out the window. It goes out even further out the window when we find out that the Sanctum people are also Nightbloods. So there's that. And the third favorite moment was the fact that Dioza, the way that she handled the Sanctum inhabitants when they invaded the ship, she got straight down to business. She didn't want too much. She wanted only the minimal details so that she knew what the situation was, and then debrief her fully afterwards. She was very take charge. It's like, on the one hand, she was the enemy in the previous episode, but then on the other hand, it's like she got things done in this episode type of thing. So, which is very different because, like, it truly shows how calculating she and how observational she is as well, because if Octavia was in that situation, she would have just threatened to kill them all and not have a plan behind it. So it just shows the two different type of leaders. So I did appreciate Dioza's mindset, or her ability to see farther along than the next step that needs to take. She's seeing 3 steps ahead type of thing. I do appreciate that type of thinking at the moment. Usually I wouldn't, because she's the enemy. But anyways, moving on to top 3 peeve moments. The only peeve I could think of for this episode was the moment when Octavia badmouthed Monty to Jordan. That was just rude and uncalled for, and just like, no. Like, don't attack Jordan at all. So there's that. But anyways, moving on to random questions that I did have. First one, why wasn't Murphy showing signs like the others when it came to the toxin, or was his wound affecting him differently, and that's why he was kind of like immune to what the toxin the others were facing? I don't know, but there's that. And next question is, do the Sanctumites, which I'm calling the Sanctum inhabitants, do they hide underground, locked up or chained up during the red sun eclipse, or like, where do they go when all this is happening, if they're not in their village themselves using their own chains? Like, what is their emergency protocol and stuff like that? And is there a way for them to track when the red sun eclipse is happening, or how often is this happening? I don't know. But there's that as well. But let's move on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 603, it looks like the question of how many people our characters have killed is brought up by the Sanctumites. We do see Clark and the others trying to come in peace to the Sanctumites, only yet we see it cut to Octavia making kills in the woods. So who knows how that's progressing. But based on the synopsis, though, for the episode, it reads that Clark tries to win over the leaders of Sanctum in order to let her people stay. Meanwhile, Bellamy, Echo, and Octavia discover a new threat while on a mission to retrieve the transport ship. So that's going to be interesting. I wonder if they establish if radios between other radios on the ground work, because we know radios between the ground and in space don't work. So I'm wondering if ground-to-ground contact is possible or not. But otherwise, that is pretty much it. It's a solid start so far, with lots of questions about Sanctum and what's going on and like how things work there. But I'm very interested to see why that little kid thought they would be there to rescue them. Like, were they always told that like someday they will come and rescue them from this planet, but for now they gotta stay here? It's like, what's the deal there? I can't wait to find out about that. But otherwise, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that, or I'm getting my head of myself, but what did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think will happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts, theories, opinions about all that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. Link for that is down below. Reblog promos, web clips, coach tips, synopses, news, all that good stuff. All found in one place. Go check that out. I am behind. Hopefully, I'll get right into it this weekend. Fingers crossed. WordPress account, link for that is down below. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress. More detailed, more organized, but still in work in progress. Once again, please keep that in mind. Otherwise, now that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. It's been a very long day for me. I'm surprised I'm even awake to make this recording. But I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. And it's still less than a minute on the clock, so I win. Take care, guys. Bye.